So what's up, guys? My name is Drew.
My name's Cash.
And we are kind of new to the CSGO lounge scene, kind of the CSGO scene in general.
Mm-hmm.
But what we want to do, basically, is we're both pretty knowledgeable about betting and trading. So we have two expertises. I come from a trading background, so I've done a lot of things with Diablo 3, trading card games, including Magic the Gathering. And I've profited off of both of these scenes just through trading. And so I know CSGO Lounge has a lot of trading.
Yeah.
I know CSGO in general has a lot of trading. And you come from a different background that's also super cool and super helpful.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so thank you, Drew. I come from a background that's more sports betting. So I've been professionally sports betting for about 4.5 to 5 years now. And I actually used to be a bookie for a little bit. So I used to make odds and actually deal odds to my clients. So that was a great learning experience, kind of learning about what kind of odds we can offer to those players. And now we're going to try to look at it from a flip side. So I'm going to bring the experiences that I brought.
And I'm going to bring the experiences that I have.
Yeah, so we're going to bring those into, hopefully, your tactics and kind of learning how you guys think and how we can kind of patch up those small leaks that everybody has when they bet. So we'll be talking about a lot of concepts, including personal odds versus lounge odds,
how the system works.
and
those are the main two we want to cover today. But in the future, we'll discuss things like maps, best of ones versus best of threes versus best of fives. This is a topic I don't know too much about, but I'd like to learn a lot more about. Is
definitely.
LAN versus online play. I know the community thinks there's a big difference between the two. I want to know what that difference is, if there's biases that go into it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We want to talk about fan favorite teams, and when to bet on them, when not to bet on them, and just all these different sorts of stuff. And so for this first episode, what we want to start with is the system.
Right.
And so why are we attracted to the system, Cash?
So the reason that CSGO betting looks particularly lucrative to us, and hopefully to you, is the concept of personal odds versus lounge odds. So the great thing that I think about CSGO betting is the odds are set by the community. Right? So differing from sports betting, where a bookie would hang a line for a player, and he would have to choose whether he wants that or not, CSGO betting is entirely based on public perception.
Right. So what that means is if there's a bias that is widespread, it will be reflected in the odds.
Right.
Rather than an odds maker coming up with the odds, who's usually very impartial, knows what he's doing, has a statistical background. And so it's much better to play, in a sense, against the community rather than very select few knowledgeable individuals.
Exactly.
And CSGO Lounge is a community-based website. The odds are made by people like you and me. So we are very interested for that reason. And also, we'd like to talk about the rake a little bit. The rake is very small. Most recently, I read that it was at 1%. And you come from a sports betting background. That's pretty kind of...
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So the sports betting industry has an average rake of about 10%. That means that the house has an edge of 10%. But with CSGO betting, I think the thing that's especially compelling is the 1%. Right? That even if... So I think in sports betting, I believe the percentage was, in order to come out profitable, you need to win at least 56% of your plays. 56% just to break even. Right? So in CSGO betting, with an edge as low as 1, right?
Yeah.
We can hopefully, grind out more bets, more valuable plays over time, and we won't even have to win 56%. We can win 52, 53, or even more to come out profitable.
Just above average.
Yeah, just above average. And that should not be a problem because, like we said, the odds are set by the community.
Exactly. So now we're going to talk about personal odds versus lounge odds. And so lounge odds, as you may or may not know, hopefully you do, but they're the odds set by the community that we've been talking about. So they're the CSGO lounge odds. So when you go on the website, if you look at a matchup, it says 74% versus 26%. Those are the lounge odds, right? And they always add up to 100, obviously, intuitively, right? So they might be 90-10, 50-50, even like 96-4. We've seen some of those.
Yep.
So.
And those odds are what determine your payout for those of you that are new to CSGO betting.
Right.
So what we want to do is we want to find when your personal odds are greater or more valuable than your lounge odds. What your personal odds are what you value the team as. What percent of the time do you think that they will come out on top? So like, the example that Drew gave was 76%. If you think that the team that is playing that is favored has a personal odds of about 80, 90 even, or anything above 76. That is a valuable play for you. In sports betting industry, we don't aim to win every game. You don't aim to grind out and go 80-0.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you just need to win 56% of your bets. So if 56% of your bets are profitable plays or valuable plays, you will come out on top.
Exactly.
You will. And so and the rake is even lower here, so we don't even have to hit 56%.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So like, for instance, just to give a quick example, if the lounge odds are saying something like 70-30, and you view the teams at 80-20, you want to bet on the team that is 70% on the lounge. Because if you think they're going to win 80 out of 100 times, and the other people think that it's going to happen 70 out of 100 times, you clearly value them higher than the rest of the community, so bet on them, right?
It's a profitable play every single time.
Right.
And if that is what you believe.
And on the flip side, right, if it's the lounge odds are 80-20 and you think they're 70-30, bet on the 20% team, because you think they're going to win 30% of the time and the rest of the community thinks 20.
Right.
And like, you don't bet the same amount on each one, right? If you're going for an underdog, you don't want to bet a large portion of your inventory on them because even you personally think they're still going to lose most of the time. But you're thinking that they're going to lose less often than the rest of the
Right. And something else that we'll talk about in this series is bankroll management.
Right.
So what bankroll management is that means that if you lose a game, that you bet about 5% of your bankroll. And what a bankroll is, it's basically all the money that you have allocated towards betting.
Right.
So if you lose, let's say, 5% of your bankroll on a certain play, you allocate 5%, your next play will not be 10% to chase that. It will not be 20% of your entire inventory to chase that. What we're going to do is we're going to grind out small plays over time. And by that, we're going to hopefully have bankroll management down to a T where each of your bets will have sizing according to how important or how much your odds differ from the lounge odds.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's a great way to put it. And to kind of wrap this whole concept together, I'm going to give an interesting scenario in which you should never bet. And if you can guess what that is, that's awesome, but I'll say it in just a second. But it's when your personal odds match the lounge odds, right? Because you agree with the community, and so the 1% rake that does occur is actually detrimental to you betting. Right? Because even if you are right, there's a 50% chance like you are valuable in this bet, 50% chance you're wrong, and that 1% tilts you just in the negative favor.
Right.
But that might be the only situation in which, like, if you're confident about your personal odds, that you shouldn't bet.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty interesting scene. I'm gonna love to get more into it.
Yeah, definitely.
You've been talking about it for weeks, dude.
Really excited to bring some of our experiences to you guys and hopefully learn from the community as well.
Right. We want this to be interactive. We want this to be a video series in which we don't give out specific advice, but give out a new way of thinking, kind of a holistic take on the whole scene.
Right.
So we're not going to do any matchups in the foreseeable future, but we're not going to do anything like that to start off with. We're going to do like broad concepts that we want you to apply to the way you bet.
Right. We want to give you the tools to hopefully empower your betting techniques. Right. So like Drew said, we're not going to give you guys specific picks or even specific times to bet. What we want you to do is we want to hopefully, like I said earlier, patch up those leaks in your game.
Right.
When you look at a game, are you considering the right factors for your personal odds? How are you computing those personal odds? And how can we compute them better for you?
So, I guess to wrap things up, this will be the first of many. Give us feedback. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what we're doing wrong. We're just two guys that hopefully bring the right knowledge and know what we're talking about and come into this scene and hopefully make an impact right away in both your betting and our betting. We're brand new. We're going to put a little bit of money on it and see where we can get.
Yeah, let's do it.
But it should be fun. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you guys next week.